Did you grow up with any shed vibes, you guys? Did the dads have sheds, or did any uncles? Were there any great sheds in your childhood that you remember?
My only feeling of shedness is when it was raining, I used to go and stand in the garage because it had a corrugated iron roof, and especially when it was pouring, and chop wood.
And chop wood?
Yeah, in the rain. I don't know why, but it had a particular fascination for me.
I knew that about you.
I felt really practical and handy when I was chopping wood, because I couldn't really hammer or anything or build anything.
Can't talk, Mum.
But I could chop wood.
Yeah, I've got 3 or 4 blocks to go through.
My dad didn't have a shed because he was... I think the only thing he could do was change a fuse.
That's an interesting parallel with my families. My dad's useless too. I mean, a great man, but he could change a fuse and a tyre, and he showed me how to...
I don't think my dad could change a tyre.
He showed me how to do both.
And a radio.
Women can have sheds now too, of course.
Can they?
Oh, yeah, I think so. And it was very hard for a woman to have a shed in the 50s.
Yeah.
Women had, you know, a Singer appliance, or a Kelvinator.
A kitchen.
Or a Micamac Morphac electric travelling alarm clock and a matching walnut case, or some other thing that was won on a quiz program.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to look there. I'm going to think about a guy I play football with on Sunday mornings who's better at me than footy. Everything he does on the footy field is better than me. But out here, I reckon I can keep up with him. Ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful Paul Kelly.
It's another song I brought along especially for the shed. It's kind of a shed song. It's an old song. And really what to do when you get together with your friends in the shed and play music, you sort of, everything sounds like the Velvet Underground. His mother always let him stay up late on Fridays. They would lie in her room together watching TV. Sometimes she fell asleep before he did, and he'd be watching a talk show. One person talking, then another. Then all this laughter coming from nowhere. Next thing he knew, she would be shaking him gently. Wake up, little one. Saturday morning. So he'd get up, dress himself, put his shoes on, and leave the house without breakfast. Breakfast always came later, in other people's houses. 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 They had to catch 2 buses to reach their destination, and the trip seemed to take forever unless he fell asleep along the way. When they got off at their stop, they were in a bigger, brighter neighborhood. The houses were a long way back from the street, and some of them were hidden from view by big hedges. Looking down the street was like looking through the wrong end of a telescope. His mother guided him through this country. She knew exactly where to go. She carried in a bag a big heavy ring full of keys. They were old keys to other people's houses. 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 She would turn one of the keys into the lock, Well, some of these doors needed 2 keys. Then presto, they were in. The houses had so many things in them, yet still so much space and carpet that went on forever. He liked to rub his feet quickly on the thick pile, then touch a doorknob with one finger and give himself a small electric shock. In the first house, they always went straight to the refrigerator. There were things in there he couldn't imagine anyone ever eating. Strange-looking pastes in jars and horrible concoctions in plastic. His mother would fix him up with a jam sandwich and a glass of milk. Then she'd set to work, cleaning other people's houses. 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 So they would go all day long from one house to the other. His mother mopping, vacuuming, scrubbing, cleaning, washing the dishes, leaving him to his own devices. Often if no one was home, she'd put music on the stereo and sing along. There's one record that she always put on and sang along to. Had 2 men and 2 women on the cover. They all looked sort of blonde, except one of the women had dark hair. The stereo flickered like the controls of a spaceship. Other houses were full of books. And if he was good, he was allowed to take one of the books down from the shelves and open it up. There were books on war and cricket and movie stars. He was very careful with the books. He was very careful with everything in other people's houses. 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 Well, many of the houses had other children in them. They'd rush right past him into the yard. He'd follow them out back and play with them for a while and sit on the steps watching them. He felt slower than the others. There was a girl about his age who lived in a house that went to every second Saturday. Her name was Stephanie. She used to take him everywhere with her. Everywhere she went. All around the house. Even into her room. He'd never see his mother until it was time to leave. But one Saturday, his mother told him that Stephanie and her family had moved away. Just like that. He still thinks of her now. 25 years later. Moving. Laughing. Sitting down to dinner. Making conversation. Making love in other people's houses. 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 You ever left a band, Paul, that you've been in and watched it, or...?
I've never left a band. Lots of people have left my bands.
You know,
Actually, I haven't left the band, yeah, because I broke up the Messengers, so...
What was that like?
It was a long time coming, so we all had a chance to get used to it. But it was my idea, and I think the others wanted to continue more than I did.
Right, so I see.
It's a difficult thing.
It is.
All right, here we go. Oh, hang on. Turn the old guitar up. Beautiful. We'll just groove along with Hess for a minute. Okay. Shots, a little hairless, forget-me-nots. You got the castle coming at you. You got assholes bumping into you. Hey, get a car, get a job, get a life, just get arrested. Just get involved, Petra. Fat free, free fat, big drawback for the smoking man. Blue flame, my seat, big fat nest of a hairy beast. Here we go. You got the castle bumping into you. Yeah, you got assholes bumping into you. Get a job, get arrested, little darling. Just get involved. You're gonna lose your place the way you're going, and we're not getting on. You're gonna lose your face the way you're going. Why don't you pack a bomb, John? Blue poles, assholes, big black brush of a crooked man. It's a big ask, it's a big squeeze. I just can't believe you got Picasso coming at you. You got assholes bumping into you. Well, hey, get a car, get a wife, get a job, just get arrested. Just get involved, yeah. Bring it down, bring it down. I think we'll hear from Kevin on the guitar. Mr. Kevin Grant. Just get involved.
You haven't really been the boss all the time. I mean, you joined Split Ends. Was that the first band?
No, I was the junior. I was the one who had to go down the road and buy the sandwiches when I joined Split Ends. The younger Eddie was always the one who would pipe up at come errand time and say, "Oh, who's the youngest?"
Oh,
And I'd be sent off. So I did my little graft there. I actually had a band when I was 5. I was in a band called the Cavemen.
it's good enough.
With 2 of the guys down the road, and we had the old coal bucket and cardboard guitar and Beatles wigs.
Oh, and the tennis racket thing?
Yeah, I think there was tennis rackets in there.
Yeah. I was in the Electric Licorice. That was my first band. We won a talent quest. No, we entered a talent quest at my high school. And my little sister was in a group doing Chimney Sweeps from Oliver. And they beat us.
Jeez, big
I
day.
nearly
That's
gave
a
the whole
hard day,
game
that
away.
one.
So you finally got your own TV show, Paul. It's a good one. About time.
I won that bet.
Yeah.
That's what the $10 was for, ladies and gentlemen. Neil said to me that if you ever get your own show, Hess, there's a tenner in it from me.
That's right. And the only thing, the thing is though, that we used to do all these TV shows in the past, and they all seemed really very stiff and very formal.
Oh.
And you spend the day rehearsing, and they were cold TV studios, and everything was a slave to the technique. It was all the cameras. There was nothing. No one really cared if the performance was any good.
Right.
We always talked about this mythical TV show,
Yeah.
and I got here this afternoon for sound check, and no one knew what the fuck was going on. And I thought, he's done it. He's done exactly what we were talking about. And you know what Paul says? When anybody asks him what's going on, he said, it's all up here.
There was that one TV show in Germany we did where they had the exploding chooks. We were doing Don't Dream It's Over, and they had the guy that hypnotised the chook before us.
That's right, and Japanese drum troupe afterwards.
And the Germans wanted to let smoke bombs go off in the chorus of Don't Dream It's Over.
That's as good as it gets, isn't it?
That's as good as, that's beautiful.
We want to let the bombs go off when Neil sings the chorus.
What's that about?
Well, we were once on a Dutch TV show and they wanted Noel to be part of a comedy skit. That was, we, of course, had no idea what was going on because all in Dutch, of course, but Noel at some point, Noel Crombie this is in Split Ends, had to come into the middle of the skit and say, "What the fuck are you doing?" That's serious. Noel did it too. I need to give you the, that's right, okay. I got a big foot.
Yes, George, your favourite new friend.
She will have her way. Somehow I will still
That's a new song from Neil's new album. She Will Have Her Way.
Thank you. Is that a Robert Moore guitar up there?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Beautiful.
Robert's a friend of ours in Brisbane. He does some very cool stuff.
He's a great painter.
Just noticing the environment, just noticing the environment.
Yeah, good. Anything of yours here that I've pinched?
Well, no, there's that hideous lamp you bought on tour that Marty won't have in the house. Is that my sombrero?
Yeah.
No, the rest of they're pretty crap, really. No, it's it's all very nice. It's very cosy in here, I must say. It doesn't feel like a gig, really.
No.
All right.
You're not the girl you think you are. Yeah. They're not his shoes under your bed. No. He'll take you places in his car that you won't forget. No. And all the people that you know, yeah, will turn their heads as you go by. You'll be hard to recognize with the top down and the wind blowing. He won't deceive you or tell you the truth. Woman, he'll be no trouble. He won't write you letters full of excuses. Come on, believe you have one in a million. You're not the girl you think you are. Yeah. But someone's standing in your place. The bathroom mirror makes you look tall, but it's all in your head. In your head. Well, he won't deceive you or tell you the truth. Woman, he'll be no trouble. He won't write you letters full of excuses. Come on, believe you have one in a million. Well, he won't deceive you or tell you the truth. Woman, he'll be no trouble. He won't write you letters full of excuses. Come on, believe you have one. You're not the girl you think you are. Ooh, believe you have one. You're not the girl you think you are. Ooh, believe you have one. You're not the girl you think you are.
Thank you, linesman. Thank you, ball boys. Aren't they the same pants that we had in the Crowded House costume case?
Yeah, they are.
God, you got good life out of those, haven't you?
I haven't worn these since Atlanta.
Are they Dangerfield?
Yeah, they are. Well, yeah, but look, I wore out the bum in them. Look. Kind of faded.
Oh, they're good.
Is that faded?
I don't think any of us really want to contemplate that, Paul.
I reckon that my mother, for example, was probably a bit more practical around the house than the old man.
Right.
She used to say that if Dad nailed a nail in the wall to hang a picture on, as he walked away from the wall, you could hear the nail hitting the floor as it came out and tumbled majestically down floorwards, where it would remain.
So you don't have any real
I don't
shed
have,
blood?
No.
No father shed blood passed on?
No, I was once given, within living memory, for Christmas, a stud finder. Now, the reason I was given this is that it was a colossal joke, because I wouldn't really know what would be the purpose in finding the part of the wall that had the bit of timber behind it.
Oh. I'd like everyone to put a warm welcome and a hand together to a man that, well, for me and Neil, we've looked up to when he's up on a box or something. He's a beautiful man, and we've partied with him, and he can party. Ladies and gentlemen, John Clarke. Now, I believe you and Neil have been hammering away in your shed back in Auckland, you know, in the daytime while you can work. And you've come up with a suggestion, well, or perhaps the new New Zealand national anthem, John.
Actually, this song was written in 1975 and was recorded in 1975 and was re-recorded in 1976 and was subsequently never recorded for reasons that will become increasingly obvious. But it looks as if it's going to have a renaissance in New Zealand, because there's a footy show in New Zealand which Neil knows about. I don't know who they are.
The Sports Cafe, it's called.
Yeah, and they rather like
I
it.
don't know who they are either.
No, well, they're going to have a go at making it into the unofficial New Zealand national anthem. The official New Zealand national anthem could do with some replacing, frankly.
It is. It's extremely defensive.
Yes, it is. It says, God defend New Zealand.
It's not come on Kiwis or anything else.
No, that's right. As if God's got nothing better to do either.
Exactly.
I'd like to point out that I was never in a band with either of these two, although I'm a very good friend of George. Who helped me write this song. I use the word song in there for the metre. At the dawn of the day in the great Southern Ocean, when the world's greatest fish was being landed, and the boat they were pulling it into was sinking, and the sea was quite lumpy and the weather was foul, and the bloke with the map was as pissed as an owl, and the boys called out, "Maui, you clown, put it back." In the noise, he reached down for his grandmother's jawbone and he winked at his mates and said, "Boys, we don't know how lucky we are. I've a feeling I have stumbled on something substantial.
We don't know how lucky we are. We don't know how lucky we are.
I was speaking to a mate of mine just the other day, a guy called Bruce Bayliss, actually, from up our way. He's been away on a round-the-world 8th Army do for a year, more or less. I said, "Describe the global position, Bruce." He says, "Fred, it's a mess. We don't know how lucky we are in this country.
We don't know how lucky we are. We don't know how lucky we are. We don't know how lucky we are."
There's a guy I know who lives in town. I see him about once a year, I suppose. He's had a coronary since Easter. He's got a hemorrhage in his ear. He went bankrupt a couple of weeks back. Now his wife's left him too. I said, "You're looking odd, mate. You're looking queer. What are you going to do?" He said, "We don't have how lucky we are to live in this joint, Fred. We don't know how lucky we are." He repeated,
We
looking really bad and you're thinking of giving it away, remember New Zealand's a cracker. And I reckon come what may, if things get appallingly bad and we're all under constant attack, remember we want to see good clean ball and for Christ's sake feed your backs. We don't know how lucky we are to live in this joint. We don't know how precious are the circumstances. We don't know how lucky we are. We don't know how lucky we are. We don't know how lucky we are. All together. We don't know how lucky we are. We don't know how fortunate we are.
I should be so.
We have no idea of the luck we possess. We have absolutely no concept of the degree of our good fortune, and God defend New Zealand.
How lucky we are.
Thank you.
Say no more, ladies and gentlemen. No, you could sit here and have some toast before you go, because you missed out on dinner. Yeah.
Feel free to join in at any point. What's going on now, Paul?
I thought that the Parliament would work much better if Parliament House was kind of, you know, bulldozed, and they just had a cluster of sheds, and each member, once they got elected, had to then go in and build their shed for their 3-year term or 4-year term, yeah. And then you could go to Canberra and you could look at the characters of the MPs, and you could see little workshops in different sheds.
I think you should propose this. It sounds like an excellent idea. Yeah.
It's just like they all argue too much, being too close. So let's separate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them a shed each.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a bathing box.
Right.
Sort of a series, like when they put the stagecoaches in a circle in the movie.
Around Lake Burley Griffin. Yeah. Just do the whole lot.
Yeah.
And so people can sort of, well, kayak across to have a meeting with Treasury. Or they might kayak back to see if they can get money out of... Yeah. Yeah, I reckon Beasley would take to it all right.
Yeah, he'd be keen, although the kayaking would be a problem.
Yeah. Maybe you'd have little catamarans for the more...
Or a gondola. A very big gondola.
This is
with
what
a huge
would happen,
pole.
wouldn't it? You would see that from the different politicians. You'd see what they'd choose. What do you reckon Costello would row?
I think he'd probably try and change the rules so that he was excluded from rowing. He'd get a note from his parents.
Well, there's only one thing I can do at this point, and I suppose that's introduce Nick Seymour, ladies and gentlemen. Nick. Now, Neil and Nick, darlings, before we start, just a general apology for leaving you guys in Atlanta. Just a general apology there, just to set up straight.
That's all right, because we're off now.
Hang on. Jeez.
It's a bit edgy all of a sudden, isn't it?
I thought I finally met me match. Now, look, questions. Questions from the good people to you guys. I'll read them, and if I feel like, you know, there's something I should answer, I'll jump in.
Well, it's not like you, Paul.
Go. He's having a go, Nick. He's having a go. Oh, look, here's a spicy one. What the fuck went wrong?
Well, whatever it was, it can't have been gone that wrong, because here we are.
Yeah. Oh, envy us.
Mind you, there's big performance fees.
Yeah, well, I didn't get around to that, did I?
No.
We'll talk about that later. It's $10 here. Okay,
Don't forget it's not worth anything, Paul.
Here's a good one. The worst on tour fight, violence. Neil? Does that mean Neil?
Well,
Milan, you and Neil.
Well, there was an incident in Milan. Every time we went to Milan, we always had a fight, Paul and I. I don't know, it was fated. We never were big in Italy. Endlessly frustrated by it. Because it's got the best food and the best wine. We wanted to be big there. But we went to Milan and we did a really crappy little gig. There was only about 50 or 60 people there, and it had been a really bastard of a day for the crew. Difficult setup, you know. We turned up, we were all petulant and sort of pop starry and said, oh, what's this? It's no people and the stage is too small. Went on stage and I was trying to talk to the audience and Paul was tuning his drum. And by then we'd had a bit of a spat on stage, but it was a private one at this point. And I was trying to talk and Paul was making a big noise, so I got really pissed off and went over and smashed my guitar on top of his snare drum. And said, there, does that sound right, Paul? And anyway, there was a dark cloud instantly descended. The audience went, ooh, and they got scared, you know, in their Italian way. Had no idea what we were talking about. But violence is universal. And we went off stage and you know, and fuming, and I stormed off, about to go back to the hotel, and as I was going through the door, Paul pushed me. And it was a little fly screen kind of door, and outside there was a little gathering of fans waiting to say hello. And they'd been waiting all their lives for us to come to Italy, and Paul pushed me through the door and I landed at their feet in a heap. And as he pushed me, he said, come here! It's impossible.
That sums it up.
And that was probably our worst moment of violence, actually.
It was. The most adventurous thing you've ever done with a microphone?
I can answer that.
That would be Los Angeles Paul.
Paul, picture this. Christmas '88, Paul in a red Santa suit, on stage at the Wilton Theatre in Los Angeles, to a cocktail accompaniment by myself, I think. Disrobed his Santa suit to absolutely nothing but a pair of cross trainers, and addressed the audience in a very calm fashion, and then turned his back to the audience with the microphone, struck the microphone with his penis, which is the first known recorded penis, I think, in the rock and roll history.
Something along the lines of it was a mystery sound. I was saying, guess the sound. I was trying my hardest.
The funny thing was that half the audience didn't even know he was naked. Fear does amazing things to the man's anatomy.
I got a photo from a fan in a fan letter that had a picture of that with a toy magnifying glass. Sticky tape to the photo so I could see it. What's the capital of Tonga? Yeah?
John? $4.80. Thanks.
I think that's just about done it. Let's move on.
You know, like the day that you left, I was describing this before, and I don't know if this is the venue for this discussion, but it might as well. We're all adults.
Let's have it out now.
This is like a therapy session after all. And but I've never seen anybody look more unhappy in my life than that day, and I was relieved that you said you wanted to leave, because I thought I thought, this is, I can't, you know, it's just not fair.
I can't take this guy anymore.
No, it was partly that, yes, but no, I was concerned. I wanted you to get some relief. It was like, so I think you did the right thing, and, you know, fine.
You were really elated, I remember that night. No, you were like, it was like you wanted to leave too, but you couldn't, but because I was leaving, it was like, oh, someone's leaving, great.
Oh, I was just relieved something had happened, because we were in this strange nebulous point in the tour where it was just this uneasiness and unspoken sort of frustration lurking under the surface for everybody, and I thought, oh, something's happened, thank God for that. You know?
Well, I thought it was brilliant that you just went on and did the next night without me and just kept going. I was a bit, you know, disappointed that you could do that. But just want to say now, officially, I was very proud of you guys. I sort of got to watch you, or watch the band after leaving it. It was really...
Did you see us play?
No, I just saw telly stuff and a few tapes and got the singles, and I had to buy them. No one was sending them to me from the office, but, you know, I just went out and bought them myself.
Now you're heading down to get someone. Should have done what he had to do years ago. Position is coming through. All the people that's standing on. All the people that's standing on. Now Now you're heading down to be something, something that you've seen in the magazine. Your premonition is coming true. Oh baby, not so green. Oh baby, not so green. Oh baby, not so systematically waking up the dead. Systematically stepping on my head. Systematically waking up the dead. Systematically stepping on my head. Now you're heading down to find something, something that you buried in your backyard. Decision is coming through. All the dirt that you're digging up, all the dirt that you're digging up. Now you're heading down to be somewhere, like Hessie shed on a whatever night it is on Melbourne. Position is coming through. I can't think of a single rhyme to match Melbourne. I can't think of a single rhyme to match Melbourne. If anybody's got any ideas, they better come back and tell me. Systematically waking up the dead. Systematically stepping on my head. Systematically waking up the dead. Systematically stepping on my head. Nick, bass solo, man. Nick Seymour. Come on, help him out now, clap. Something that you should have had years ago. The position is coming through. Oh baby, don't be so slow. Oh baby, don't be so slow. Oh baby, don't be so slow. And now you're hard to get a hand on. Systematically waking up the dead. Systematically stepping on my head. Systematically waking up the dead. Systematically stepping on my head.
My boys want to serve, they can serve.
Ladies and gentlemen, my friend Nick and my friend Neil. I think we should bring Mr. Paul Kelly back out here. Come on, Paul. Paul Kelly, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, that was a little journey. Should have heard the talking up here.
What comes after the chorus? Neil, what comes after the chorus?
Nick, solo.
Sounds about right.
Didn't have me cymbal for the big finish. Didn't have me cymbal. Lost. We'll play a song that we used to play in the crowdies every night just about. Written by this boy.
looking over the bridge, looking down to the MCG. Way up on high, the clock on the silo says 11 degrees. I remember, breathing today, it's the month of May, all the burning leaves. I'm feeling sad, my feet don't even touch the ground. I remember, I go east and bound, I go east and bound. The bridge down past the river and across the playing field. The fields all empty, only for the burning leaves. I remember, I go east and bound, I go east and bound. To the bridge. Today is the month of May, all the burning leaves. I stumble around, my feet don't even touch the ground. I'm way up on high, way up on. Remember, I remember, I remember, I remember. I go east and bound, I go east and bound, I go east and bound, I go east and bound. Thanks for watching, thanks for coming. See you next week with lots more. Good night. Thank you for coming to the shed.
I was at the football because I live not far from the MCG, and I sometimes go over and wander in at three-quarter time. And I was over there one day last year, and the good folk of Sydney were playing the good folk of Melbourne.
Right.
And the game was all up the other end of the ground in another postcode. We couldn't see much of the game. Every now and again it looked like the ball would be coming down, but it would then sort of go away again. The risk would recede. And down our end of the ground there was Tony Lockett and an opposing fullback and hardly anyone else, and not much noise. And a bloke about a scallop or two above where I was standing got up and had sort of excused me'd his way to the end of his row and was just turning to go up, and he turned round and he yelled out in a moment of perfect silence, "Tony, I'm going for a pie, do you want one?" And the whole crowd applauded.
Really?